I'm Allie. I'm co-founder and co-CEO. And then we have some lovely members of the Jane team here today that are going to walk you through the whole process so that it doesn't feel as scary if you're looking to make the switch. And also so you're just really well prepared for that moment. So we have Bronwyn, who is on the US support team, Shivani, also on the US support team, and Alan, who is one of our wonderful data import specialists. And you have, some of you may have spoken to them before. So they're here to lead us through what to expect. And just in the last session, Dr. Michelle, if you didn't come, you should get the recording. And she said you should choose 3 words that indicate the customer experience that you want your patients or clients to have in your business. 3 words, like 3. And so one of them that someone mentioned was that you feel seen, which was lovely. But I think I chose supported. Oh, I should have written them down. Well, I want all of our team to say, what are the 3 words that we want our customers to feel, our customer community to feel when they're working with us, when they're experiencing Jane. So I think it was like supported, empowered, and confident. So that's sort of what we're hoping you get out of this session, that you end up feeling not like you're afraid of technology, but that you're just capable. And right before we started, Alan just said, we got this. And that's exactly the sentiment that I think you should feel after this seminar, this webinar about, oh, thanks. Someone who was there is telling me supported, empowered, connected. Love it. That's what I said. So let's work towards that today all together. Okay, thanks everybody. And I'll be here in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Allie. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And if you've already joined some sessions, welcome to our session. So I am Bronwyn. As Allie introduced, I am part of the US support team. I'm a product specialist, and I've been at Jane for about 1.5 years. And today we're going to take you on a journey about everything you need to know to make a smooth transition to Jane. But before we hop in, I would love if Shivani and Alan also can introduce so you know a little bit more about us.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Alan. I've been with Jane for 2.5 years, and I'm a data import specialist. So I work on the imports team, specifically on the customer support side. So I help out our customers and clinics for everything with the import process.
Hey everyone, it's so nice to see you all in the chat. I'm Shivani, and I'm also on our US customer support team. And I've been at Jane for just coming up to 1.5 years now.
Awesome. So now you know a little bit more about us. Let's tell you a little bit more about what we're going to cover today. So as Allie mentioned, we just want to make sure we go over. There we go. Come on. There we go. We're just going to go over the few steps that are involved with joining the Jane family or the Jane community. So the intent of today's presentation is just to really highlight how we love to hold hands for our community. We love to be here. We love to be able to help you get acquainted with Jane. So the few steps that are really involved from the get-go with booking a demo and getting acquainted with the software, to the import process, to set up basics, and then as well our support team. Now, to contextualize this a little bit more, we've decided to tell you a story about a provider who is with the current software, and he's looking to make the move, and he just doesn't really know where to begin. So today we're going to take you on a journey, and as Ali said, this is recorded, so please sit back, enjoy, and let us tell you a little story. So before I begin the story, I just want to tell you my story and how I came to Jane. So I used Jane as a patient for quite a few years, and it was so easy to book appointments. The intake form reminders saved me and my clinic so much time. And then also just like reminders, online booking, it was so easy. Even my grandma used it, so that's saying something. And then I started to want to switch careers from hospitality, and I wanted to find something that was really aligned with my values. And Jane is all about creating relationships, really humanizing experiences, and being able to foster a really nice sense of community. And this is something that I wanted to really highlight at my time in Jane. So working with our clinics and being able to get to know people on a first name basis and provide unique workflows for their needs is something that I'm really happy that I'm able to do. So let's hop on in here and let's meet Joe. So this is Joe. He is our solo physiotherapist, and currently he is with a software. and he just wants to kind of see what else is out there. So he's looking for a new practice management solution. His friend told him about Jane, and he just wants to embark on the journey. So Joe is going to start his journey by hopping into his car, because this story is not about Joe finding a new software. It's about Joe finding a new home. So when you're looking for different softwares, you are going to be looking at different softwares, trying to kind of figure out what is the best for your clinic. In our story, it's very similar to looking at open houses, getting a feel for different houses and different softwares and what they can offer. So the step one in Joe's journey is going to be booking a demo where one of us, the support team, can showcase you the software. Because at Jane, we don't have a sales team. Me and Shivani and our other beautiful support people are able to really take the time to go through the software with you. We'll even ask you to fill out an intake form and just make sure that we get to the bottom of the questions that you might have. So I'm just going to show you quickly. I know some of you from the chat are already Jane members, but just in case, I just want to show you where you would book that demo. So what you're going to want to do is hop on over to our Jane.app. It's the Google of Jane. It's a hub for everything you might need. And you're going to press this little book a demo button. Once here, if you don't have time to sit down and have the 45-minute call, you can go ahead and watch a pre-recorded demo with the lovely Ali. And then down here below in this blue square is where you would actually book the demo by telling us what country you're from, what discipline you're in. Don't worry if you can't see yours, we do have another. And if you want to book a cash base or insurance, you would then press book now, leading you to our booking site. This emulates the booking experience that your patients would go through, as they have the online booking similar to yours, but you would customize it to your clinic's needs. And here I can pick a time that works for Joe. So Joe's free in the afternoons. So I'm simply going to pick. I'm going to press I'm done to confirm the booking. And then because I've already created a password and username for CJane Run, it's going to lead me right to the booking page. The first time you do book a demo, we will ask that you create a username and a password just so we can send you reminder emails. You can fill out the intake form and we'll be able to send you the Zoom link the day of your meeting. So now that you've booked your demo, all you have to do is sit back, relax, and wait until we get the demo invite sent to you. What's next? So Joe's going to attend the demo. He's going to get a feel for it. And he's pretty sure he wants to move into this house, but he's not 100%. So how awesome would it be if before you bought a house, you could have a sleepover in it? You could see if the walls creak, you could see if there's noisy neighbors, see how the nighttime traffic is. So we kind of thought that this would be a fun idea to compare that to playing around in the demo site. So our demo site is a fake clinic where you can practice workflows, practice making appointments, online booking, just really get a feel for it and see if Jane's going to be a good fit. You're going to be armed with resources from our support team member so that you can practice different workflows. After the demo site and after you've kind of got a better feel for it, you can go in and you can always book a post-demo call with one of us so that we can chat things over even more, or you can just shoot us an email, whichever is best for you. And you would book that on CJane Run, which Shivani is going to tell you all about later. And then finally, Joe has decided, yes, this is the software for me. I want to sign up. How do I do it? He's just going to head back to our Jane website here and press this blue sign up button, making sure he has all the necessary steps, and then press the begin button. And bada bing, bada boom, you are part of the Jane family. Now, Joe has joined us, but there's another step that needs to be taken before he can move in. He needs to pack his boxes. So we decided to just tell you a little bit about some tips and tricks that we think would be helpful before you're getting going, or if you've already started with Jane, might be helpful to keep in the back of your mind. So we do have an import process where we can import over data from your current software to Jane, which Alan is going to tell you all about. And we want to mention it right off the get-go because we do offer a 2-week grace period if there is a wait for the import. And it's also nice to contextualize knowing when you want that data into Jane and the steps that it's going to take to set up your staff, set up other settings, and just kind of have it in the back of your mind. We also recommend booking a new account setup call. Shivani is going to tell you all about it, but it's an opportunity again to know when you want to launch and be able to kind of know what you want set up and by when. And it's an opportunity for one of our support members to go through your account and just make sure everything is set up to your needs. If you are locked into a contract with your current software, please reach out. We do have a contract initiative and we can help you in case you are locked into a contract. We also have a bursary program. So if you are an educational clinic or a nonprofit, please reach out to us as well, as we might be able to help you with your subscription. And the last two things I'll mention is the helper rate. So if you are a clinic that offers under 10 patient visits a week, please reach out. And then the training, which Shivani is going to go all into because it is so amazingly made. But we definitely recommend in the few days when you're setting up, utilize that demo site. You're more than welcome to use it and really practice so that you make sure that your staff understands the workflows. So those are the first few things that Joe's going to do as he joins Jane.
Bronwyn, can I just mention a couple of things about these bubbles?
Of course.
I feel strongly about them.
Yeah, of course.
I want to talk about our desire that you don't pay for two softwares at once. And I don't know if you know that everyone knows that I own a practice before Jane, and so also a clinic owner. And the 2-week grace period is really a 2-week transition period where you can be operating a different software, but you have 2 weeks of Jane at no charge. So you're not paying for two softwares at the same time. So you can get everything set up and moved over. And the reason it's 2 weeks is because early in Jane's story, people used to try and spend like months and months setting things up. And it just was a terrible experience. They would try to run in both systems. It would get very complicated. And we found 2 weeks for most practices was actually the perfect amount of time. It gave you a short enough window that you took action and that you'd have a successful transition, but long enough to also get everything really set up in the way that works for your practice. So that's why there's that 2-week grace period. It's also about the old contract. So we just don't know if you're locked in a contract and you want to change now, but you just feel like you don't want to pay for two softwares at the same time. I get it. That's like it's a big expense for practice. So we've just tried to devise a system to allow you to switch when you're ready to switch and not have to wait out like a contract with a different provider. So just and the same with that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Keep going. I love it.
I appreciate it. No, I love it. I always love I didn't know that was the origin of the 2 weeks. So we're all learning new things. It's awesome. Thanks, Allie. Okay, cool. So now we know even more about the 2-week grace period. So make sure you mention it when you do sign up. And we're going to go into more about importing. So Alan, our lovely data import specialist here, is going to take it away and tell us all about the import process. And in this case, how Joe is going to move his boxes into his new home. So thank you, Allie, and I'm going to pass it off to Alan.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Thank you for bringing us through how to book a demo and sign up with Jane. Once again, my name is Alan. I am a data import specialist here at Jane. I'm thrilled to be here. I hope everyone else is having an amazing day so far. And today we are going to talk a little bit more about the import process in my part of this presentation. So obviously, we know that moving from one software to another, what we're asking for is it can feel very daunting, very overwhelming, but we are here to help make that transition as smooth as possible. We have an amazing team of importers here at Jane who actually import the data, and I like to call them the unsung heroes of Jane because the work that they do to bring over data from multiple different software is nothing short of extraordinary. So we are here to help throughout this process. All right, so what we're going to cover is how to schedule an import. Then we're going to move into how you'll be able to export your data from the previous platform or software. And lastly, we'll end off with a couple tips and tricks after your import is complete. So as Ali mentioned, one of the best things you can start to think about when you're thinking about an import is, when am I looking to move? Is there a specific transition date I can work with? So I like to have clinics sort of think in those terms of, when am I prepared to make the full transition to Jane? Is that in 2 weeks, which is what we normally see a lot of clinics are able to work within that 2-week framework for making the full transition. If it's longer than 2 weeks, just keep that date in mind of, once I get to that point, that's when I'm prepared to make the full transition. And what we can do is schedule the import on or around that transition date when we're ready to make the full transition there. We can also use the time period leading up from the sign up date to the date of the import as a time when any staff members or any practitioners can work in the demo site and go through things like the Jane University guides to make sure that everyone is feeling comfortable to use the platform. Once the import is complete, everyone's able to jump over and make that transition over to Jane. So here at Jane, we are able to offer one import to bring over all of your data from the previous software. So we would hope to receive the full export of all of the different data sets from the previous platform. And that helps ensure that we're getting in or importing the most up-to-date information into Jane. We're not leaving anything behind. Obviously, we know things can happen in the import process. So, for example, if you're able to export data like a patient list and appointments, but maybe a chart export is going to take a couple extra weeks from your software, just reach out to us, keep us in the loop. So the general rule is, one import for clinics, but if something happens, just make sure to reach out to us, let us know, and we are more than happy to accommodate bringing over as much data as we can.
Alan, do you want to know the background of the only one import?
Yeah, sure.
It was because people were also thinking like, I'll just import my data as a test, play around with it all, and then I'll import again later. But we can't reverse out all of your imported data without wiping all your settings. And so people were doing all the work to set up their so it's not that you can't have another import if it makes sense. Like, oh, I can't get that data till later, or I forgot to import my future appointments or whatever. It's so that you don't try to import data, play around with it, and then say, actually, I want to redo the import. That's a no, but totally open if you have other needs around the whole importing of data. So, yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Ali. That was amazing. So exactly what Ali just mentioned. If, for example, there's a set of data that we haven't previously imported, no problem to bring that in as well. But we really want to avoid testing around in the account, because then we're unable to undo that, and also uploading data that we have previously imported, because that increases the risk of duplicates. So awesome. All right. So now that we are mentioned that, the next step is we're going to walk you through how to schedule an import in Jane.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hey, this is Alan from Jane. How can I help you?
Hi, my name's Fran. My physiotherapist, Joe, just joined the Jane family. I'm his receptionist, and he just gave me the patient list, and I'm putting them all into the software. And I was just wondering, is there a better way? We have lots of patients.
Hey, so first of all, welcome to Jane. We're thrilled to have you join our community. And yes, to answer your question, we are able to assist with importing data. So we'll be able to import the patient list and appointments and any other data you may be able to provide. And if you'd like, I can help guide you through how we can schedule the import on the call today.
That'd be awesome, Alan. Do I just open up my Jane?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm here. Where do I go?
All right, so the first place you want to go is the top blue bar, which is that blue bar up at the top, and we're looking for settings, which is one of the options over on the left.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome. So this is your settings page in Jane. It's going to have a bunch of different tabs. A lot of you'll work at it here a lot when you're setting up your new account. But down at the very bottom, you'll see an option that says schedule and import. So I want to scroll all the way down to the bottom, click schedule and import. And on this page, we'll have a little brief introduction to the import. And there's two options, learn more or begin. So the learn more button will take you to our imports guides, and we'll click begin to schedule the import.
Oh, wow. You can upload all of this information?
Yeah, you got it. So the first question we're going to ask when scheduling the import is what types of records you will be uploading. So this is where on the right-hand side, you can actually check off which data sets you will be uploading. No worries if you're not entirely sure at this point, just select what you think you might be uploading, and then you can reach out to your software to confirm.
Okay, Alan, I have a question on this. I do see that billing data is crossed out. I have some patients that have credits and amounts owing. What do I do?
Great question. So we do make a point of demonstrating here in the booking and import process that we are not able to import billing data. So billing data in itself is very complex data to work with. And the way invoicing works in Jane, it touches a lot of different parts of the software. So we're not able to recreate historical billing data. So things like past transaction histories, payments, receipts, things like that. So What we recommend is to export any financial reports from your previous software, so a sales report, transaction report, things like that, so you can securely keep those outside of Jane to reference in the future down the line, say around tax time. And then what we can do is start fresh in Jane. And you bring up a great point, which is we are able to help you recreate any patient credits. So any patients that might have credits still left on their file, as well as any outstanding balances. So we are able to assist to recreate those in Jane.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and then if we work down the list here, I think that Joe wants to go live mid-September. So what would you recommend for the import process?
Well, the
Oh,
first
wait,
thing we'll
one
want to do
second,
is,
sorry.
if the first
The
thing you'll want to
software.
let us know is which software you're coming from. So if you click into this list, here you'll see a list of all of common software that we import from, and these all correspond to different platforms that we've actually created a guide for how to export your data from that platform that we've heard from clinics moving to Jane. So no worries if you don't see your software on this list, because we import from many, many, many more than this. So what you can do is just scroll down to the bottom and click the other option and let us know in the drop-down field where you're coming from.
Okay, done and done. And then, okay, circling back to my question, mid-September. So when will you be uploading the data?
Yeah, so this is the field where you'll be able to select when you plan on uploading the data to us in the import. So it sounds like you're already working with a transition date in mind of around mid-September, which is wonderful. So if you think you might be able to upload your data by around September 14th, you can maybe select that date or any date around there.
And then, oh, cool. And then I can just select the next morning, which is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So that field is where we're going to select when we would like the import to be completed by. So you'll notice that the next available option is the next day. So we are able to complete imports for the next morning. If there's if something is, maybe not as clean as we'd hoped for with the data, or if we have any questions, we'll reach out to the clinic to confirm before moving forward with the import, just to make sure we're doing everything correctly.
Awesome. Okay, and then I just submit the request on the bottom here. Is that correct, Alan?
Yeah, and in case you're the point person for the import, you'll want to put in your contact information there, just in case. It's better to reach out to maybe a front desk staff as opposed to the provider. But the good news is that the account owner also receives a copy of any notifications from the import.
Okay, awesome. I put my email there. That was a good point. And then I'll submit the request.
Perfect.
Wow, and you give me a whole plan. This is so nifty.
Yeah, exactly. So once we receive the requests here on our end, during business hours, we approve them right away. So I'm going to approve this import right away here for you. And then you'll see the area where you'll be able to upload your data. So if you actually refresh your page there, you should be able to see that the page is updated. And we've got a countdown there at the top. You've got 23 days to make it happen. That's when you'll be uploading the data. And you'll now see a lovely upload your data area. That rectangle there is where you'll be able to drag and drop your files or click the select files from your computer button.
Okay, awesome. And then, Alan, if I wanted to learn more, where would I go? Like if I just want to learn more about exporting my data and stuff like that.
Yeah, great question. So once the import has been scheduled, the next step is actually to reach out to your previous software and connect with them about how you'll be able to export your data. So what we recommend is if you're running into any struggles with that, as they're more familiar with their software, you can connect with them to see if they may be able to assist you. But most importantly, we are always here to help you if you're struggling with any of that, and we'll do our best to help you export that data. So then once you are able to export those files, you'll want to upload them, and then you'll be able to click the Done button in the import.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you click the Done button, that signals to us that you are good to go for the import. So in case you may be looking to have the import completed sooner than September 15th, that's the step you'll want to do is upload your data, click Done, and then down below there, you'll actually see a messages area, and that's where you can request something like an expedited import, or keep the imports team in the loop with any information regarding how the process is going on your end. So we always recommend just popping some communication in there. And then lastly, up at the top of this page, you'll see a little blue link that says, here is some more info. So If you have any questions about the import process in general, we have a fantastic basics of importing to Jane guide, which brings you through how we're able to export or what the different file formats are that we're able to import, as well as the different data sets as well. So we recommend jumping in here if you have any questions off the bat. And as I mentioned, we also have more software specific guides as well.
Okay, Alan, I've got my homework set out for me. Thank you so much. You've been super helpful.
No problem. Thanks so much, Fran.
Can I mention one thing about this
Yep.
whole import area? It's really important to note that we don't accept any data by email. And the whole reason that we created this import area right within a Jane account is because you're sending files that include all your patient information. It's all protected information. And so doing it within the Jane account allows for us to keep all of that within our secure environment. So you're HIPAA and PIPEDA compliant, which is not true if you're emailing spreadsheets around. So really exciting and really intentional that we built an entire system within your Jane account. And Alan and the whole import teams have a whole communication system right from within actually that one page, which they might be about to show you, and I'm jumping ahead. But really excited to share about how there's a real intentional, there's intention behind the way that data is transferred to Jane. So it might seem like, why can't I just email this data? Well, it's not very secure. So this is the way.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ali. That is a great reminder that the upload area in the import is a secure upload area, as opposed to attaching it to an email. Exactly. All right, so once you hit the done button, the next step is in our hands. We take those files, our amazing imports team populates the data into your Jane account. And you'll receive an email notification as soon as that's been completed. And then I actually reach out the next morning to check in with how the import is going. So that's just to make sure, if you have any questions, you can reply there. So the next step on Clinic's end is moving in. So here we have Joe in his brand new Jane account. It is lovely, beautiful. So what Joe is going to want to do is basically open that door and just check out the new account. So we have a couple post-import steps to go through. The first one, don't wait, investigate. So open the door, go into the different rooms, take a look, make sure all the data is there and looking good. So for example, take a look at your patient list report. Make sure all the patients are there that you're expecting to see. Take a look at your schedule, make sure there's future appointments there as well. A lot of the time when exporting from a previous software, filtering past today's date can be missed. So we're losing all those future appointments. So that's one thing to double check as well. And then most importantly, if something looks off, reach out to us right away. So this is why we mentioned investigating as soon as the import has been completed so that you can catch that, reach out to us, and then we can work with you to help rectify that. But if the account is being used and then something is caught, as Ali mentioned, it's a bit trickier to rectify that. All right, sometimes we know duplicates can happen, but here at Jane, we have a very robust, strong import tool that catches duplicates. So you never have to worry about tons and tons of duplicates, but sometimes a couple sneak through. So if there are any patient profiles that are duplicated, for example, maybe it's Josh in the data, but Joshua in Jane, we have a very straightforward process for how we can merge that. So we send steps for that as well, for how to merge patient profiles and staff profiles. And lastly, the next step is to move into your new home. So my amazing colleague Shivani is going to take us through a couple new account setup steps. And yeah.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Alan. Thanks so much for guiding us through that imports journey. I know that importing and just setting up your account in general can feel like a lot, but today I'm here to just show you all of our support resources that are available to you and just all the support that we offer so that you don't feel like you're alone on the journey. I'm Shivani. Like I said earlier, I'm on our customer support team here in the US. So you might catch me when you call in, email, or chat with us. I absolutely love getting to chat with our clinics every day, answering your questions, teaching you how to use Jane, and just hearing all about your experiences. Just a little bit more about me and where I come from. I used to work in allied health clinics for about 10 years before coming to Jane. So I was supporting practitioners just like yourselves in running their practices day to day. I'm actually feeling a little bit nostalgic right now because I do remember my first allied conference that I watched while I was working in my old clinic. So I think it's so cool to be on the other side of this now, being able to chat with you all and just teach you more about the basics of setting up your account and our wonderful support resources here. Now, the first time that our physiotherapist, Joe, logged into his Jane account, he was feeling pretty overwhelmed and anxious just with all of the things that needed to be done. Now, for some of you, it might be a time of transition from another software. And for others, this might be your very first time opening up a practice of your own. And you might just be wondering where the heck to start when it comes to a practice management solution. But we just want you to know, no matter where you're coming from, we have your back. And we genuinely do care about your success on the journey. So for me personally, one of the things that's most exciting about moving to a new place is the fact that I get to transform that house into a home. And similarly, we want you to feel just as warm and welcomed when you're using Jane, since we know that you're going to be spending quite a bit of time with us together moving forward. And so with that said, here are some of our top tips for setting up your new account. Now to start, we would suggest using the setup wizard, which you can kind of think of like your moving partner or your bestie while you're moving in, who's going to help you out with the heavy lifting and keep you on track. To access the setup wizard, just click the gray check mark at the top left of your account. And that's going to open up this panel. You can click the show me how button in blue beneath each section. And that's going to open up a little pop-up window with a short video just explaining that section. All of these sections are designed to be really like bite-sized portions. So you don't have to worry about completing the whole thing at once. Each one is broken down into about 20 minutes or less that you can walk through and complete it. And once you finish watching the video, you can just go ahead and click the link beneath the video to pop on over to our guide, where you're going to get some more helpful information, more detailed instructions on each step of the setup there. And like I said, don't feel like you have to complete this all in one day. Take your time, just go at your own pace so that you don't feel overwhelmed here. So now that you've walked through your basic account setup steps, I have a little question for you all. Does anyone love a good DIY project? Feel free to leave a comment in the chat if you do. With that, you're probably going to be happy to throw in some DIY fun here as you work on customizing your Jane account with the help of our ultimate DIY guidebook, which is also known as the Jane Guide. So with the guide, you're able to customize your account, choosing colors, adding logos and personal touches to your online booking site, and email notifications are just some of the ways that you can make this house feel more like a home. To access the guide, just click the Need Help button at the top of your account. It's a handy button that's going to give you access to Jane's support community. So from here, like I said, you can search the guide, which contains tons of FAQs, how-to tutorials, training videos. Seriously, like any question you can think of is pretty much answered in our guide. So feel free to check that out. And then you can also get in touch with us here via phone, chat, or email.
Can I give a pro tip about the guide, which I think
Yes.
not enough people know about? So the search here is pretty good if you know exactly what you're looking for, but sometimes it's not, it misses what you're looking for. If you actually go to Google and you type in whatever it is you want to know and then write Jane app in the Google search bar, you're going to actually get a really well indexed search of all of our guide pages, better sometimes than the in-app one, which we're going to fix. That's embarrassing that I'm even telling you this, but it is actually more effective sometimes. So if you can't find it by searching in the in-app Need Help, open up Google, type in whatever your question is, plus Jane app after, it will find it for you.
I love that. I'm learning so much new stuff from you today, Allie. Okay, so I'm sure you've all heard the timeless saying, home is where the heart is, and this rings especially true here at Jane as well. The heart of our company truly is you guys, our customers, and our mission to help the helpers really means doing everything we can to support you in feeling familiar, comfortable, and empowered to use Jane as a tool to run and grow your business. So I know at the beginning earlier, Allie was talking about the 3 words that we want you to feel as you're getting set up with Jane. This is something that we really do take to heart and want to make sure that you're experiencing when you sign up with us. We just really want you to feel confident and ready when it comes time to go live, because we know there's nothing worse than feeling as though you don't know what you're doing when a client is standing right in front of you. We just want you to be able to focus on what you do best, which is helping your clients and not worrying about your EHR. And this is why we really suggest right off the bat, just spending as much time as you need going through our training videos and our demos, learning the daily workflows and routines, and just getting really curious about how Jane works. And the key here really is practice, practice, and more practice. This is a foundational knowledge, and it's really going to set you up for long-term success as you continue to use Jane. So we would just encourage you not to breeze over it. Now, our training modules are fondly known as the Jane University, and you can feel free to access those through our guide and work through them independently or even as a team. If you do work with other staff members, it's a really fun way to connect with them and help foster a sense of community within your clinic. Like I said, before I came to Jane, I was working in clinics who use Jane, and I can definitely say that the training videos are a huge lifesaver. So please do take advantage of those. But inevitably, though, with all these resources available, you're still going to have questions come up. And whether it's about booking, billing, charting, or anything in between, I would just encourage you to write all those questions down in one place, as this list is going to come in handy a little bit later in the journey when you reach out to our support team. All right, so now that you're getting settled into your new home, it's also time to get to know your neighborhood. And any good neighbor knows that it's always best to welcome the new kids on the block with open arms. We feel exactly the same way here, and you can definitely expect to hear a knock at your door from our friendly neighborhood support team as you're getting started with your onboarding. Now, you might or might not have heard that Jane has award-winning customer support. It really is not an exaggeration. I'm here to tell you that support is definitely one of the best features that we offer here. So that means no more waiting on the phone forever, no more sending multiple unanswered emails, dealing with less than helpful reps. I'm sure we can all relate. There's going to be no more of it here at Jane. I've said this before, and it's totally worth repeating again. I've never before worked with such an amazing group of caring, compassionate, knowledgeable, and supportive humans in my life. And I really can't wait for you to get to know our support team as well. Hashtag support goals. But after all this, you might be wondering, well, how do I get in touch with this wonderful support team? Well, I had mentioned the need help button at the top of your account earlier to reach out to our support team and also search the guide. We really do love hearing from you, no matter how big or small the question. And similar to what Bronwyn had showed you earlier with booking demos, we also do book what we call new account setup calls, just to cover the basics of your account setup and really just hold your hand while you're going through that process. So if you head over to our online booking site, cjanerun.janeapp.com, you'll be able to choose your country and then choose the new account setup call option here. And from there, you can look at our schedule and just find a time that works best for you. Just giving B a second to get to the right page. Oh, I think you got it. Oh.
Technical difficulties. There we go.
Cool. So yeah, just click the new account setup option, choose the time that works best for your schedule. This call is just a really great opportunity to break out that list of questions that I mentioned earlier and double check that your account is set up the way you want it. But if you don't have any settings started yet, don't even worry about it. We'll walk you through the entire setup from start to finish if that's what you need. Our support team really is a goldmine of knowledge, and you're going to be amazed at the things you learn with them. So I really just encourage you to take advantage and ask as many questions as you need to during these calls. Now, we also book specialized support calls as you're getting more comfortable with the system. One of our support experts can help you to dig into a topic or a particular topic a little bit deeper, just to gain more understanding of how it works, or if you have some complex setup needs as well. So whether it's about billing, scheduling, charting, or anything, there's really no limit here. Just book as many calls as you need to feel comfortable. And if it means you have to reach out to us 10 times in a day, that's totally fine as well. We really do mean it when we say we love hearing from you.
And Shivani, I'm going to just jump in and just mention all of these calls are no charge, because there's differences in the software systems around whether or not support is included. And in Jane, we believe that it should all be included so that you are not hesitant to reach out and get the support you need, because we want to make sure that you're delighted using Jane. So that comes with using Jane properly. That's the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't hesitate for even a second to reach out to us. Like Ali said, there's no extra charge. It's all included. So we just love hearing from you, and we really love chatting with you that much. But it doesn't stop there. So getting to know your neighborhood also means exploring fun new hangouts and connecting with other members of the community. So by clicking the Need Help button one more time, you can also join our growing Facebook community to connect with other Jane users. And if you haven't realized by now, we really do love fostering community here at Jane. So this is just a really great way to share tips and tricks between your Jane account and other Jane users, and also just get really quick answers to your burning questions. And then last but not least, you can also visit our feature request page here, where you can be part of Jane's growth journey. This is one of my favorite parts of Jane. We really do love hearing your feedback and ways that we can improve the experience for you. So here you're able to come in, vote on and comment on existing feature requests, and also create your own if there's something that you're really wanting to see developed. And then you can also visit the roadmap, which is really exciting because you can see here all of the features that we have planned and in progress and we're actively working on coming up. So you can just come in here and get excited about new and upcoming releases. All right, so by now in the journey, our physiotherapist Joe's launch date is approaching pretty quickly. As you can see, he seems to be feeling pretty good, and the support journey doesn't end when you go live. So we just want you to know that, naturally you're going to come across more questions and learning opportunities as you fully start running with Jane. But don't worry, our friendly neighborhood support is not going anywhere. We're going to be here with you as the journey continues, and we're super excited to see where it takes you.
I think that's when I'm actually supposed to come back in, is now, instead of all the times I've already come back in. So nice work. That was great. I feel like my daughter is a gymnast, and her and all her friends talk about being nervous and excited at the same time, which is, I think, the kind of feeling when people are about to transition to something new like this. And we call it nerve-sighted. That's how they feel before they go to competition. And one of the transition stories I often tell to people, especially when I was really helping people guide people through the process, is the scariest part is actually right before you jump. So like I was a gymnast, she's a gymnast, back handspring on a beam is like a very small beam. The scariest part is actually not jumping and putting your hands on the beam. It's like right before, as you're making that decision. So if you just commit to it, we're here for you, and your hands will land on the beam. Don't worry about it. It'll work out, which is super nice. And the one other thing I wanted to mention, just as if this is like my piece of advice, would be just like, don't be afraid to click around in stuff. Click everything you can see, figure out what it does. Don't be scared. You really can't mess anything up in a way we can't fix. So that was usually my first piece of advice. I'm like, click around, try it out. And just be open to discovery, because people are always afraid they're going to break something, but you don't have to be afraid. Don't be afraid to break it. Okay, that was awesome. I feel like some people here might have some really specific questions, whether they're in the journey or considering it, or maybe something that wasn't covered. I did want to mention in the guides as well, we didn't show any, but one of the things that we tried to do with the guides was build some really specific instruction on how to actually get the data out of your existing software, including like really clear instructions on like, go to this place and go to this, run and put the settings in this way. So if you're not sure how to get it information out of your current software, that's a helpful one. And if you have no import, of course, hopefully you recognize that all of these are still super relevant to you. You can book a new account setup call without having an import, and we'll just go through all of your settings with you and make sure it's all set in a way that's perfect for your practice. One of the things about being, I mean, everyone's such a special and unique practice. You all practice differently. You all have a different way that you like to work with your clients or your patients. And so the more work you spend in that setup time, the smoother it's going to be in the long run. So we can help you make sure that your Jane account is really set up just in a very unique way to you. So it does mean that there's some settings that you can set things lots of ways. It's funny when we develop a feature, people are always telling us, this is how we use it. And we're like, I know, but not everyone uses it the same way as you. So sometimes that means we have to add a lot of setting options for people. So working with us in that new account setup, it's one of, I think that's probably the most valuable part, is we can say, well, how do you do this? You tell us how you do it, and we tell you how to set the thing. And so I think working with our team on that, it can be really valuable, and that we've seen the hundreds of ways that people set things up, or maybe you don't know how you want to set it up. Our team can say, most people set it up this way. So we have that experience of having done this many, many times. So getting in touch is a great way of kind of benefiting from that experience. We can't actually like log into your software to get the data out. Sorry, Bridget asked if we could get this data out of the other software, and no, it's actually against most terms of use. It's against Jane's as well. Like, we wouldn't want you giving competitors access to our software, which is just, that seems like reasonable as a business ask. Don't let other people into your software. So we can't go in, but we can help direct you based on our understanding of how other people have gotten the data out, and help you with like just tips on like, oh, normally when people get data out of, like, there's one software that crashes every time you try to run a certain report. So we say, we know it won't crash if you set the date range to a certain date range, and then you have to export it in 6 files or whatever, just like little weird things that might, but yes, we can definitely walk you through it if you're having trouble. There's another question from Kelly about splitting setup call for different people. Do you mean different roles within the clinic? Or same role, different people? We can run it in different ways depending. Does anyone else want to take that before I?
Yeah, I could kind of just talk on that. Yeah, we can definitely book like multiple new account setup calls if you're wanting to have different, staff members at your clinic, set up different areas, and then also learn about different types of workflows as well. Yeah, like I said, there's no limit on these calls really. So, and it's so custom to your clinic and how you run things. So yeah, we would definitely be willing to accommodate multiple calls like that.
And if you do sign up for the corporate subscription, if you're a larger practice, we do have a little bit of a specific flow that we work through, which is really helpful. Like, we kind of not dictate it, but like set it up for you so that you know how this works best. So we'll often do a practitioner call where we just really focus on teaching people how to use the charting documentation side. We'll do administrative call where all of your administrative staff can learn the like billing and the scheduling and that whole side. And then we can also do just like a setup call where we just set up all the global settings for your practice. So if you have a larger clinic, we can set up a schedule for you where we say, okay, everyone just be on a computer and join at the same time. But you don't have to be in the same physical location. You can all join from wherever you are. So you just would join the ones that are relevant to the work you do. Any other questions from anybody? So great. Well, I'm going to say thanks to Bronwyn, Shivani, and Alan. I really enjoyed hearing your voices today and hearing a little bit more about your stories and your work that you do with the Jane community. So thank you. Thank you for walking us through all that. Hopefully that feels like a map that, like, I say that like that's a new idea, a map that they just presented that you can easily follow in understanding the journey for transitioning over to Jane. And that's it. That's the wrap for day 1 of Allied. So wonderful. And if anyone has any other questions, if you don't have the need help part of Jane yet, you can contact us through the website or just through email support@janeapp.com. And we'd love to talk to you. Okay, thanks.